What the f? Well, I didn't see that coming. Well, I don't know if I've been living under a rock for the last few months. I didn't expect this to come. When I saw DJI was announcing a new product or 3 products over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I did expect some kind of gimbal. And me and my friend Ryan have discussed whether it's actually going to be a cinema camera or is it just going to be a like another Ronin, like the Ronin M, but the new generation of the Ronin M. Well, DJI have shocked us both. Introducing the new DJI Ronin 4D. This is literally an all-in-one system to meet your filmmaking needs. So let's just fly through all the features that we have available to us at this moment in time. One of the most amazing features about the new Ronin 4D is that it's an all-in-one cinema camera system, but with a 4-axis stabilizer. We've had the Weeble, we've had the Zion Crane, we've had the Ronin S, we had the Ronin S2 and various other renditions from many other manufacturers. But this is the first time we've had a 4-axis stabilizer for the camera. For those people out there who haven't really ever used a cinema camera or had to pull focus manually, like I haven't, but I'm gonna get to in a couple of weeks' time, make sure you stick around for that, hit the subscribe button, thank you. They've implemented a LiDAR focusing system. What this is a little sensor on top of the lens. What this gives you is a top-down view of your scene from front to back in black and white so you can see the distance, and it also shows you where your focus plane is. So if you wanted to focus on someone's face, that will be visible on the LiDAR screen. All you need to do is pull focus and make that focus line go to where that is on the LiDAR screen. Not only that, but this camera actually comes with a secondary 7-inch monitor, which you can use wirelessly. And you can give the screen to your AC to help pull focus or to your client to review the shots as you actually do the shoot. So as I've already mentioned, the Ronin 4D actually comes with its own camera built into it, and you can't take that camera off of the Ronin itself. But the camera comes with a full frame sensor, which is capable of recording at 6K with an optional upgrade up to 8K. You also get a top handle and a high quality monitor to go alongside it so you can see exactly what you're shooting through the camera. And for your audio recording, you get 2 XLR inputs and a 3.5mm jack. Just like with a lot of the cameras on the market today, you get dual native ISO, and that comes in at 800 ISO and 4000 ISO. So when you get to 4000 ISO, in theory, the noise in your camera or in your image, it should drop down to the same as what it was when you was at 800. Like many of the cinema cameras out there, you're gonna get built-in ND filters, and this is great because you can switch between them with just a flick of the switch or a turn of the wheel, but you won't get the dreaded X like you do with some variable ND filters. Because they're just a standard ND filter, then the whole image will be treated the exact same way, and no X, no vignetting, nothing like that. And with the built-in ND filters, you're gonna get around about 9 stops of light reduction. So with the new camera system on the market, you also need the new lenses which go alongside it. And DJI are bringing out their own lens line to go alongside the Ronin 4D. But at this moment in time in this release, there's only 3, and that's the 24mm, the 35 and the 50. But they have said over time that they will add to that collection. But do not worry, you can use third-party lenses with the Ronin 4D. The only issue I find with it is it seems to be very like Sony FE mount orientated. You can use the Leica M mount lenses with Ronin 4D, but when going through the lens compatibility list, a lot of it seems to be the Sony FE mounts, and there's not even one mention of anything to do with Nikon or Canon. Obviously at the bottom of the page it does say that this list isn't finished and they will add more stuff to it as time goes on, but with no mention of Canon, then where does that leave the Canon users? The reviews so far from the Ronin 4D say that the autofocus is amazing and the automated manual focus system is exceptional. What the automated manual focus system allows you to do is, whilst the camera is focusing on a certain subject, but you may want to rack focus through to something in the background, you can grab the focus wheel and just turn it, focus on something in the background, and as soon as you let go, that will automatically drag the focus back to the previous subject. It also has active track focus, just like the DJI drones, where you can draw a box around your subject. And what that does is show up on your LiDAR focusing system so you can focus straight to that. So it allows you to ensure that you're perfectly in focus with the subject of your choosing. Regarding storage systems, so this uses a CF Express Type B cards, which are fairly common these days, and DJI's own DJI Pro SSD system. What the DJI Pro SSD is a 1TB USB stick which goes straight into the side of the camera. Your footage automatically gets put onto that SSD drive, and then you can plug that in using a USB-C cable straight into your computer to offload all of your footage. So onto codecs. The Ronin 4D will record into Apple ProRes RAW, ProRes 422 and H.264 420. And you can get all of that and more for the price of £6,999 here in the UK. If you want the 8K version, then it is a little bit more at £9,499. But as I've already mentioned, that is an optional extra and you don't have to have that if you wish. So what do we think to it? Personally, I think it is a phenomenal camera. It's amazing to see DJI finally coming onto the market with their own camera system and their own cinema camera system. It's great to have an all-in-one camera system with literally a camera, ND filters built in, all your lenses supplied from the same manufacturer onto a gimbal with a wireless focusing system. You don't need anything else to do a production. Well, apart from obviously the other stuff. But in terms of cameras, you're all good. Now, one person I do want to get their opinion of is my good friend Ryan Peck, who is a cinematographer and filmmaker by trade. He does it on a daily basis using the big cinema cameras. So earlier on today, I spoke to him on a video call and got his opinion, and this is exactly what he said. Now, make sure you got your pen and paper ready because what he goes through didn't quite make sense to me, but it may to you. So Ryan, do you want to explain to everyone like what you've just found out? Because you'll explain it a lot nicer than what I will.
Going through the spec list for the Ronin 4D, what you can get out of it. So, you know, if you want to take an output out of the camera, you've got two options. You've got HDMI, which it just says HDMI input. There's no, from what I can see, there's no other information on it. And then you've got BNC SDI output, but that's only rated to 3G. With 3G, you can do 4K on 3G, but only at 30 FPS. So now if you own a 8K camera, do you want to be able to send 8K through an SDI to a monitor, let's say? You're going to shoot 4K, 60 FPS. Say you're going to use that for esports, let's say. You're going to do that, and you're going to have a broadcast, and you want to have a wireless video link between your Ronin and the vision mixer upstairs or something like that. You can only go up to 30 FPS. That's already an issue. You're going to spend 10 grand, but then you only get 4K 30 on an SDI single output. You would want something probably that's 12G rated onwards. That's what I'd expect for the money, but that's just me. Have you got any questions, Danny, about that?
No, I literally got no idea what you're on about. So I
mean, I'm blowing your mind, but I'm talking about silly SDIs and things like that. But
so the big question is, will you be buying one? Or if you were on the market looking for something, would it be something you would take into account?
No, I don't think I'd buy one.
Wow.
It's
okay.
not. As I said previously, you can buy a Movi for that price and put any camera on it.
Yeah. Controversial.
Is that the main selling point, though? Is it the Ronin that it's all in one system? There is some cool things on it, like having a manual lens and it turns it into autofocus. I don't think it's for me, personally.
Well,
not at this current stage.
When I spoke to Sam Holland earlier on, he says the thing what he doesn't like is the lack of flexibility. You can't balance lenses very easily on it if you use third-party ones. They've got to be smaller, they've got to be shorter. That's why it's a lot of prime lenses and the G-Mastered stuff won't work. So it would never work for what I use. But it's cool to see them stepping out of their comfort zone and seeing where they can actually go with it.
Yeah, and I can't fault them that. When Blackmagic first started out, they did that. But they listened to the industry and they kept, EF mounts and things like that to please the industry so they could easily move into their system. And now they've got those people in there, they're constantly upping their game.
There we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, like I said, I had no idea what he was saying. It kind of went in one ear and out the other, but hopefully you guys took something from that, and that's coming from someone who actually does this on a day-to-day basis. obviously it's not a bad system for you to go to, but I do feel like if you was to go to the DJI Ronin 4D, then you would have to pretty much give up what you already use at the minute. Like, I'm a Sony shooter, you may be a Sony shooter or a Canon shooter or whatever kind of shooter. You're definitely not a DJI shooter because this is the first camera for DJI. So you're going to be changing all your stuff. You're going to be working with new lenses. You're going to be working with a new camera system. You're going to be working with the new gimbal system. And obviously it's all built into one. So it isn't like you can just swap something out for something which you've used previously. And obviously at like £7,000 or nearly £10,000, if you're wanting to go for the 8K version, that's a big investment to make for something which isn't quite 100% there out on the market with everything ready to go. But I do feel like DJI are onto something, and I feel like over the coming months and the next couple of years, the 4D will become a much more used thing in the cinematography productions. And if that's something which you want to jump into, then go for it. I think it was definitely a good investment to make, but there's going to be a lot of changes for you to get used to. The big question is though, with the new 4-axis gimbal on the consumer market, will we see another 4-axis gimbal on the market for other users such as Sony users and Canon users to use with their own systems? Now that is something that I definitely would invest in. And that's it, the brand new DJI Ronin 4D. Now I'm off, we need to make some preparations for the next gear review, because at the minute, that's all it seems to be. Every single day, another piece of kit, and I'm loving it. If you enjoyed the video, then please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and at this moment in time, I'm literally releasing a video every other day. Who knows? So I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Latest.